Hello all and welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you again for the love and support on yesterday's video. It was something a bit different. It was a complete end-to-end walkthrough showing you guys how to migrate DOVU tokens from the Ethereum smart chain or the Binance smart chain, so either ERC20 or BSC tokens, or using Hashport to migrate them to the HTS or Hedera token service. Now, unfortunately, obviously that was quite a convoluted process. So some of you guys did manage to go from end to end. Well done. That's not something that's fairly typical in the crypto space. Migrating between chains isn't easy. And as you probably saw if you watched yesterday's video, it just highlights how poor Ethereum is in terms of gas fees. I think that full process ended up costing me somewhere around $75 from start to finish, which is an incredible sum to lose to effectively miners on the network to process transactions, as opposed to, say, Hedera being a layer 1 solution with fees as low as 0.0001 cents per transaction. There is a massive difference, and just goes to show how much of a pain point the Ethereum network is. That being said, if you did migrate those tokens, the snapshot will be taken today at some point 7 a.m. EST, and you will receive an airdrop of tokens sometime in the middle of May when the actual blood moon occurs in the real world. That being said, I believe it will be via the staking platform. So once that rolls out fully live, you'll be able to claim those airdrop tokens via the staking platform, and they do seem to be fairly generous. If you haven't managed to port any tokens because you didn't want to pay the fees, that's completely understandable. I was split on the fence as to whether I was going to do it or not. That being said, once the first DEXs do go live, the DOVU tokens will obviously be supported on DEXs built on Hedera, and you'll be able to natively buy those DOVU HTS tokens for yourself if you're interested in holding the project into the long term. That being said, let's jump into the news today. Obviously, it being Earth Day today coincides fantastically well with Hedera, considering the fact it's carbon neutral / negative. Lots of great news for the Hedera ecosystem that I wanted to share with you. First things first, quick market overview. Obviously, you can see on the daily, majority of the projects are down pretty bad. You see Hbar and Ripple up there at the top, down 7% for Hbar, 6% down for XRP. Rune has fallen at 10.5% itself, and some other projects in here as well that we talk about. Engine, 7%. Plenty of buying opportunity here if you're in for the long term, and I'm just going to continue building my positions into these projects. Hbar is at one of the lowest prices we've seen for quite a while now, which is a fantastic opportunity to accumulate before we see the ecosystem develop. Obviously, you've got staking opportunities now on Stader. Check out my previous videos on how to do that, the benefits, etc. of staking via Stader. You've got DEXs coming through, and you've obviously got other projects launching their tokens. For example, Source tokens will go live. Once the DEX goes live, you've got HStart, HSuite, Hbar. All of these obviously can be purchased via Hbar, so it's worth having a nice big bag there that you can trade Hbar for some of these new project tokens, as typically they're higher risk, but there's higher rewards there at the end of the day. If I flick over, one of the first things I wanted to cover in this video is the Hbar Foundation has just released another new development fund. Obviously, they've got several different development funds targeting different sectors and mission statements. Just goes to show how involved the Hbar Foundation are about pushing the benefits of Hedera into the world. So this one being the creation of the Privacy Market Development Fund to support the growing Hedera ecosystem. It's a fund to drive innovation of privacy and preserve technologies built on Hedera. Excited to collaborate with 𝗟𝗜𝗚𝗏𝗏 or 𝗟𝗚𝗚𝗏𝗏 to make this fund a reality. Obviously, you can apply to this as well, which is, again, another massive fund where they're allocating huge amounts of Hbar to some of these developer teams to focus on these key mission statements. So great news there in general. Like I said, because it is Earth Day today, nice tweet here from 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 infographics I put together in terms of energy usage. Obviously, this was a UCL research find, which found Hedera is the greenest proof of stake network out of them all. You've got the energy usage effectively, or watt hour per transactions, Algorand, Cardano, Ethereum, obviously Hedera being at 0.020 watts per hour transaction, Polkadot at 116 nearly, and even Tezos at 11. So Hedera is by far one of the greenest. As I said, it's carbon neutral and even in some cases carbon negative. And that's obviously why we've got projects like DOVU that are building on top of Hedera. fantastic to see, and one of the great benefits of the ecosystem. That being said, talking about DOVU, Operation Bloodmoon has just sort of gone live for them, and obviously it's going to kick off from that snapshot I mentioned, the first milestone in their long-term vision to becoming a DAO. This is about our DOVU community and the people that see our vision, our value, and trust our future. So obviously DOVU is one of those blue chip projects I've mentioned many times on the channel, as it's something that I truly believe is something that could 50 to 100x. It's definitely a hidden gem in the Hedera ecosystem and will grow exponentially with Hedera as everything picks up. So you can see here their sort of statement: the streets will turn blood red and screams will be our currency. Operation Bloodmoon is the first milestone in our long-term vision for DOVU to become a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO for short. This road will take us on an adventure spanning the next 10 years. The Hedera being a 100-year vision, DOVU being a 10-year vision, which is fantastic. To make this a reality, one of our aims is to work with 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦 and the team at 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦. So obviously another fantastic project built on top of Hedera. Some of the features will be easier to implement and thus arrive sooner, such as off-chain voting. This will enable everyone to contribute to our plans for the future. Even today, community members are rewarded for supporting the project. As time goes on, this will evolve into proposals, voting, and more interaction between the community and DOVU. So why this name? DOVU's mission, obviously, as you've probably seen from my previous videos, is to create a trust layer for carbon offset integrity, billion-dollar industry. But we also want to recognize and interact with the community in the space, particularly in the Hedera ecosystem. Since 2020, we've been committed to migrating our product suite and token to the network. Obviously, as we've experienced from yesterday's video, obviously they have got tokens on Ethereum and BSC because they did launch before Hedera was actually live. And obviously they're now migrating all of the liquidity of those tokens and giving you incentives to migrate that liquidity directly onto the Hedera token service. We can see here the Bloodmoon will be observed on May 16th, so make sure you're ready. That was that snapshot that was going to be taken today. And then on May 16th, you'll be able to claim your DOVU airdrop tokens if you hold DOVU on the HTS at the time of the snapshot. That being said, Q2, the staking platform, will open to public access. In preparation, they'll be taking a HTS snapshot of all the early adopters that bridge DOVU with a 10 million DOVU reward for the support this year. And that 10 million DOVU reward will be distributed based on the percentage of circulating supply of DOVU on the HTS. That was that formula I showed you yesterday. How will Operation Bloodmoon work? They need a solution that could help us solve one of the biggest conflicts we have as we move forward and grow our community. Currently, we have a large DOVU treasury. The question is, how do we distribute this in a fair way? So, user navigates to the carbon calculator. They then add their Ethereum wallet address with MetaMask. The carbon calculator calculates the user's carbon footprint based on their gas usage and previous transactions on the Ethereum network. In addition, they'll also scan the wallet to see if the user holds any tokens related to ESG projects from their whitelist and provide a multiplier for an additional allocation. This user will then have the option to create and connect a Hedera account with a corresponding email. From that, the DOVU team will distribute the native token DOVU, and in doing so, auto-generate a marketplace account for the user with a corresponding email upon completion. The benefits for the users being simple here: you effectively get additional DOVU tokens to fast-track users into the staking site, and also to eliminate gas costs and have no requirements to bridge and be as frictionless as possible. We want every user to use the carbon calculator and to have access to more benefits when they connect their MetaMask wallet instead of purely informational narrative, transforming it into an invitation for you to begin your collaboration with DOVU. So they'll also have options to view as much DOVU and how much you can claim, access to all tokens users currently own, which will provide them the multiplier for DOVU they claim. So DOVU's first step to the DAO is obviously what they're doing from today. Plenty of other stuff in this article as well. Suggest that you guys read this. I'll leave it linked down in the description. Obviously, their Discord server is a fantastic place to ask questions. However, DOVU are really ramping up their game now to move everything across to Hedera, which is fantastic to see. And this will be one of the projects that benefits massively from when the DEXs go live, as a lot more liquidity will enter into the market, particularly if there are less tokens on the HTS as there currently are, because the process is full of friction. Moving over and talking about Hedera again in general, Banxa, the largest global fiat on-ramp for Web3, allowing customers from 135 countries to purchase crypto and NFTs using credit cards, bank transfers and cash. It's now supporting USDC on Hedera, obviously the world's greenest, low fixed cost, most secure DLT. So again, this is incredibly bullish. This enables people to effectively buy USDC natively on Hedera straight through an on-ramp for Web 3.0. Again, this is going to be another huge sort of weapon in the arsenal for the Hedera ecosystem going forward, and is incredibly important. Once all these on-ramps are built and set up, i.e. DEXs as well, that's when we see all the liquidity flow into these layer 1 projects, and Hedera will be no different whatsoever. And it's great to see just existing infrastructure solutions accepting and adopting Hedera as a layer 1 solution for the protocols moving forward. Lastly, as well, the update that was mentioned for Earthday 2022 by Daniel Norkin and ENV Blockchain is they're announcing the release of the V2 of Guardian. So Guardian now delivers features that are important to Hedera's ecosystem. So Guardian V1 beta enabled developers to start creating ESG assets, such as carbon offsets and carbon credits, which linked back again to DOVU. Since then, numerous organizations, both large and small, have adopted the Guardian for their own business model. Major features of V2 introduced include further decentralization, immutability, ESG asset recovery, enriched documentation, and bug fixes. V2 is a game changer for the voluntary ecological market as a whole and Hedera applications which are participating. That's one of the key things I wanted to focus on. Hedera applications which are participating, obviously one of the key participants in the ESG and asset recovery as well as carbon offset space is of course DOVU, as we've literally just spoken about. And obviously Guardian V2 is now giving them more power in order to enable their vision going into the future. And it goes back to what I said before, DOVU is obviously a hidden 50, 100x gem sitting in the Hedera ecosystem. And this update is really going to help push them forward as well of what they can build, which is brilliant, and obviously defined by the HIP proposal 19 and 28. That being said, that kind of wraps up this video, a bit shorter than usual. Unfortunately, the Metastable interview will not be today. It's been postponed yet again for the last time for Monday, so I should turn that around on Monday evening. Apologies to all of those who are waiting. It's because apparently the Metastable team are waiting for contract finalization before they can share more detailed information, which I think is fair enough and fully relevant to what we do on this channel. That being said, please drop a like if you enjoyed it, leave a comment if you've got something to say, and until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.